Was you able to watch it, Kellie?
Who was I supposed to watch?
The sermon.
No.
I watched it, Rudy.
Sorry.
Found that sermon just for you.
You did. Really quickly, too. Very, very quickly. I mean, immediately after I had put it in the chat. And I said, I would love to watch the whole thing. I said that. You didn't say, hey, Kellie, here's the sermon if you want to watch. I said, I would love to watch the whole thing. Yep. You said, let me see if I can find it. Within minutes, found, sent. I said, I'm going to watch it. I did not.
Didn't even click on the link.
I did click on it. Oh, you know what? You know why I didn't watch it? I'm glad you said that. That just reminded me. I clicked on it and I said, does he have an hour and 6 minute sermon? And did I think that's about it? I think that's what happened. Because I was like, man, his service is really short. Because it came in with the other lady and she was, introducing or talking, or whatever. So I watched it. And then I fast forwarded a little bit to look for the praise team and all of that. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't there. And I said, he got an hour and like 6 minutes. Chad, what he talking about for an hour and 6 minutes? And then you're right. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, no, I think they full service is about, the full stream, I should say, is about 2-3 hours for sure. 3 hours for sure.
I saw another clip. So now, once you watch one, all of them show up. Mm-hmm. And so I saw another clip of him doing kind of like what my dad, what my uncle does, some little hip hop-esque, call and response music type thing. And people were like, you got to do all that to get people involved in church. I'm like, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep, sometimes it's probably a party in there the whole 3 hours live, because he knows that if I drop the momentum,
right,
then people aren't, I'm sorry, we didn't got into the podcast.
Yeah.
So no, so I don't know where we go after that, but
that's all good. All right, well, let's get started. Kellie.
Oh. Boom shakalaka.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.
Dang.
You got a new intro. I'm gonna need to see it again. Can we boom shakalaka it one more time?
I looked up like, wait a minute. I'm confused.
Y'all didn't even notice the logo by Janessa's head. It's different. It's just our names. The logo in the background is just our names.
Rudy been ready for Ted to leave.
But I did do it after he did leak it. I was like, it's gonna be kind of crazy because we had already talked about getting a new intro and stuff. But I was like, it's gonna be kind of crazy if I keep the same stuff after he already got this. So I had to try to find little clips where it's just us and all this. It was a little different, but.
Well, Rudy, we don't have to have a professional photo shoot or something, so it can be, on the up and up and not me looking crazy.
Wait a minute.
So yeah, our next gathering, which should not be hard, Rudy, since Kellie and I are already here. You need to just come on to Atlanta. You need to do a photo shoot. I'm sure you know somebody who can take a couple of selfies. And we can do a whole rollout. Make sure you have your fresh braids though.
Gotcha.
We really need a fourth person, but we can talk about that later.
So you want to watch it again or no?
I do.
Boom shakalaka.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world.
Yeah, he did it on purpose.
It's
Hey, Kelly, I can see our weight changes over the
Chilling.
I can see mine.
All in the face.
And it was only so much to choose from where it was just us three. So I had
And I was like, dang, I got mine with all my crazy hair. We get all the crazy hair. I'm like, sheesh.
All right. Well,
we'll get some more content. Clearly, he was quick in doing this one. So with these next couple of ones, when it's just 3, Janessa, next week we're gonna have to show up right.
Button down shirt,
right? Hair slick to the side. So we're gonna have to coordinate looking nice and throw that one in there too. Make sure we laugh because clearly with all your teeth showing.
Yeah, I definitely want to, us the times we don't like, we having a good time. I like to try to get the ones where
we ain't want no serious time. The ones we all
right.
Oh, I'm texting y'all like, can
right,
you
looking down at the phone. Right. All right. Well, welcome.
Did you cut that out from last week?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I told you I was.
Okay, let me make sure.
Yeah. And the episode was still 1 hour and 17 minutes. and that was a 10-minute segment with that part.
Lord, we had to give him his time and his goodbye.
Yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Worst Ones podcast. This is the Preacher's Kids podcast where us Preacher's Kids get to come and be the absolute worst. My name is Rudy Wilson. I'm a Preacher's Kid. We got Jay Rihanna in the building. She is a Preacher's Kid. And Kellie Leasy in the building. She is a Preacher's Kid. And if you watched last week, Terry Weezy made his departure to go work hard and take care of his family. So shout out to him, of course, as well. So ladies, how's everybody doing? Kellie, we can start with you.
So, as we went through this, like you said, see the transformation of your face in the last few years. I'm trying to transform. Speaking of, well, I didn't watch the sermon, but speaking of transformation, church, I am trying to transform in the month of June. I got some goals professionally, physically, and financially. I wish I had another P. And yeah, I'm trying to get there. Okay, pause real quick. So, I think it's alliterations. My uncle and my dad are like alliterations. Everything either rhymes, everything starts with the same letter. Like that is the way they preach. And so again, I'm trying to reach these goals. I'm struggling to get through this professional stuff. And so my dad called me earlier to check on me. And so he's praying. And in his prayer, he got these 3 C's. I pray for
he said it 3 times.
Capability. And that wasn't his word, it's something else.
Right.
Like, y'all just come, like, where do y'all come up with this?
That's how their mind works.
Right.
Your uncle likes to say it at least 3 times. So compatibility.
That's my daddy too. Even on my voicemail, hey Kelly, it's your dad. It's your dad. It's your dad. I know. It says it. I know your voice.
My aunt does that. Hey Janessa, it's your auntie Vicky. Like, I know it's you.
The fact that they even still leave voicemails is funny all by itself.
Right. And so it was funny. But so I got some goals. It's the top of the month and I'm working toward them and it's hard. But I'm going to be very intentional and disciplined and exhibit a level of self-control that I don't have to not be in the same place on the 30th that I am today. So it starts with physical. I started back out personal training yesterday. When I tell y'all my body's so sore, I can barely walk. I've been sliding my feet all day at work. They were like, Ms. Lee, pick up your feet. I'm like, when I tell y'all my legs are so bad. But it's a good pain. That means I'm working, I'm moving in the right direction. And so shout out to my trainer, Gabby. So we're gonna see what June holds. But I'm trying to transform this month and relieve just some internal stressors and stress to be a better person. So
is this a transformation that you're trying to keep up for a lifetime, or is this you trying to do something by July?
Both. So personal story. Y'all know I'm a procrastinator. Y'all know I'm late. All of that wraps up into like just who I am. And so in my job, I have to write reports. And so I do evaluations for students with disabilities, and then I have to write reports. I have to do meetings with the parents and the team and write reports. Now, I am a phenomenal school psychologist.
Yes, you are.
But I hate writing those reports.
I understand.
What a passion. And so each year I get to the end of the school year and I'm like, and May is usually, I know I've said a couple times, like April, May is usually my busy months. And I get to the last day of school and I'm like, I'm done. The reports that I hadn't finished, I ain't finished. I worry about it in August when I get back. Now, of course, they're supposed to be done, but I'm like, I worry about it. So I start off August always in the hole because I never finish out the year. And then it just piles on. And then I want to do summer work. And so then I got those reports. And so it just piles and piles and piles. And this year, I'm like, I want to work to finish it by the end of June. And so to answer your question, there is a June 30th deadline, but it's the hope to set me up for better practices and better habits. So that's like the professional one. And then that leads to stress. And I stress eat. And so if I can finish the work piece, then I have to stress eat as much, and stress drink as much, which then gets the weight, and then financially, sometimes spending money made me feel good too. And so it all wraps up together. So trying to build better habits, trying to finish something now so that I can build better habits in the future.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. I feel like Janessa's stuck.
I said, is Janessa stuck for you too?
I'm pretty sure she's not just holding the cup that close to her mouth, anticipating the drink.
Rudy, how are you?
All right, let me take her out until she gets it. I don't want her becoming a meme once this becomes a Suits podcast. I am wonderful. I don't know if you can tell by my face. I definitely just woke up. But
because you sleep early today. I said, what time is it?
Well, yeah, that's because I had woke up and I was like, and because I had already uploaded the new intro and stuff, I already had this set up. So I was like, let me go ahead and send it right now. That way we can.
It confused the heck out of me. I'm like, what? I'm used to it 5 minutes before. That's my signal. Okay, time to get up. Like, I was like, wait a minute, what time is it?
Yeah. Normally I'm sending it as I wake up, but I woke up like an hour ago. I went back to sleep, but I had already had it set up, so I was like, let me just go ahead and send it right now. That way, everybody can just click on, fairly on time, and we can just go ahead and get it done. But
I've been doing better, by the way. But go ahead.
You have. But yeah, no, I'm good. No, I'm trying. I don't think anything new has happened. I mean, I definitely feel you on the just say needing to build the discipline part. Like I'm definitely a chronic procrastinator for sure. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help when you kind of, just say for lack of a better terms, are good at procrastinating. Like, like you always procrastinate. You hate how it makes things pile up, but then you still always wiggle your way out of whatever it is that you've allowed to pile up. So it's kind of like, it kind of builds, it makes a bad habit worse because it's like, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it later. And every time I always, it's I guess doing it later and procrastinating hasn't bit me in the ass hard enough for me to stop. And I always be saying I want to stop before it does bite me that hard. So the same way, even as far as is at my job, like I don't feel like I take advantage of my job situation as much as I should, in the sense of like, so I work overnight, which means like I don't really deal with a lot of customers or members, as you would call it, at the gym. So like I could definitely be more productive. I do productive stuff sometimes, but more times than not, I'm watching movies or on YouTube or something like that. So I definitely could be way more productive. And I also have a free gym membership, which there's sometimes I'm using it constantly, and sometimes I'm like, what I'm saying? Like I don't feel so. I definitely feel you on that. So I will use this month of June as well to touch and agree with you and get my shit together. In reference to just creating better habits for myself. Because once again, I'm doing fine, but it's like when you know how much better you could be doing if you just stop trying to continue to be your old self. It's like you could be a lot further along, which I so desire to. So I'm with you on that.
Amen.
Janessa, now that you're back, you were a little frozen.
Yeah,
I know my internet just dropped for some reason, but I do have a update on the neighbor situation. We had people going through the back window.
Right.
Finally, a family has moved in that's legit.
Okay.
And me and the neighbors, we went and introduced ourselves and exchanged numbers. Did the neighborly thing. And so I know Xfinity was over there earlier today working on their internet, so it might have affected mine.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm assuming, but we're very thankful that we have legit neighbors and no more people just kind of crawling through the window. And doing all sorts of stuff. Because that job took me out. It really did, because I actually just texted y'all what I've been working on this past weekend. I did a lot of stuff in my backyard. So I built a new cage for my raised bed. I still need to finish the netting on it, but I was proud of myself for designing it, even though it looks a little ghetto, but it's the ghetto garden anyways. So I did work on my garden, and then I also worked on my deck. I finally got it how I wanted it to be. I did a little DIY project, spray painting the chairs and reorganizing my sunshade so it wasn't like halfway leaning, and getting the lights together. So I just had a very productive weekend. And then also, Kellie, to your point, I 100% am with you. I was working out like a crazy person, and I fell off. I really fell off after the dog bite situation happened. Because I like walking in my neighborhood was kind of like if I can't make it to the gym, at least I can just go on a 30-minute walk. And so last week, for a while, so I had bought a pocket knife. It's not like it's a little bit bigger than a pocket knife. It's like a safety knife. And I have a walking stick. And every time I would want to go walking, I would just chicken out. Like I just couldn't mentally bring myself to go. So last week, I was like, Janessa, we're going. And I was starting to walk out. This elderly lady, I've never met her before, but she was like, girl, you got it. And like, I'm super paranoid. I got the knife in one hand and the walking stick in the other hand. So I'm like, who's calling me? Whatever. And I saw the lady. And so, I just waved at her, kept walking. Didn't walk down the street that the dog was on. And when I came back, the lady was like, see, you did it. And she had, of course, no idea that this was like my first time walking after getting bit by the dog. So she was like, how long, how often do you walk? And I was telling her I used to walk every day, but then I got bit by this dog. And so today's my first day back. And I was like, when you said you got it, girl, that really meant, you don't even know what that meant for me, because I was stressed. And she was like, the recreation park, which is literally a block away. I've known this recreation center has been here for decades. She was like, they have an indoor track and it's open from like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I was like, is it free? She was like, yeah, you just walk in, sign in. And so for the past 2 days, I've been walking on the indoor track at the rec center. And I actually listened to the sermon while I was walking. I too Kellie, when I saw that it said it was 1 hour and 6 minutes, I said, well, we about to walk for 1 hour and 6 minutes.
That's great.
So that's how I listened to the sermon today. And I had even told my friend, she was my gym partner for a really long time. We still are gym partners, but life be lifing, and we can't always go at the same time on the same days. And I was just like, I might not be able to do 5 days a week like I used to do, but I'm determined to have some type of consistency, some type of something. And so since I found this rec center with the indoor track, like if I can't do anything, I have no excuse not to walk. And it's funny because the past 2 days that I decided to go walk, literally it poured down raining. And I was like, see, you have no excuse, because if I was walking in the neighborhood, I'd be like, oh, it's raining outside, With the rec center, no excuse. And I have weights and things at home. We're going to pray about that one. Because, when you get tired, the couch is right there. The refrigerator is about 10 feet that way, and the bed is about that way. So I understand your struggle. I'm trying to lose some weight. Definitely have gained some weight after I lost a lot of weight. And it's the back and forth is getting on my nerves. Yep. So I completely understand you. And it was supposed to be a hot girl summer, or a Christian hot girl summer. And my big back is just like hanging on. So yeah. So yeah, but I'm doing pretty good. No complaints. More energy than last week, obviously. But that's because I've been resting. In my elder age, we gotta rest. So
in my elder age.
In our elder age, we gotta rest.
And when I keep looking at again, the algorithm on Instagram, you look at one weight loss thing and they give you 1 million of them. A lot of them talk about sleep and rest and getting those 7 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and so I said, there's something else I need to be more intentional about. Because I fall asleep on the couch and wake up 2-3 o'clock in the morning and then go get in the bed. But then it takes me an hour to go to sleep. Then, I'm like, all right, you need to better routines, better habits, not procrastinating, going to bed, to go get in the bed instead of going on the couch. So
that's me too. I need to learn how to put my phone down. I've recently realized how much I scroll. And even though I'm just like, oh, it's for research, or oh, it's DIY projects, but then 2 hours later and it's 1 a.m. and you still scrolling and like you, Kellie, it still takes me another hour to kind of just wind it down. So I'm trying to decompress from my phone. And then also, I went to the store today, I'm trying to buy healthy snacks because I'm a snacker.
Me same.
And I've been eating every snack in my house possible. So I told myself, well, we're going to eat all the snacks. Let them be grapes. Right. Let them be apples. Let them be not chips and cookies, even though I am making another banana pudding, but don't worry about that.
So, yeah, nope.
I went 2 days without the banana pudding because I had to make one for a cookout. And it's so good, y'all.
Discipline. That's my word. Because I have none. Yeah. I do what I want when I want.
Yeah.
Same.
And on one end, and I know we gotta get to the topic, but on one end, it's a blessing to be able to live that way, but on the other end, it develops some terrible habits.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. But I think it's safe to say we should just all hold each other accountable, since we meet up once a week anyways, and we all have the exact same problem. Normally we come on here with 3 different issues or something like that. Right. We all literally said the same thing about ourselves. So I think it's safe to say, we need to just give updates on how we've progressed, or even if you didn't progress that week, be honest, and that way, we can at least still be each other's, accountability partners as far as, doing better. So
absolutely. That's what I need, accountability. Because when I had to tell somebody, then it holds me. I'm supposed to text my dad every night. So I have a number of reports I got to finish. I'm supposed to text him every night how many I have left. And so he checked on me today. Well, I started today. So when we talked Sunday, I had 14. When he called me today, he said, how many? No, when he called me yesterday, he said, how many you had? I said 14. When he called me today, he said, "How many?" I said them same 14. That's when he hit me with them 3 C's.
We had to give you a mini sermon, girl. One of them C's should have been conviction.
I can't even remember what they were. I just started laughing. Like, where did 3 C's come from?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so definitely accountability partners.
Gotcha. And just let you know, Janessa, I don't know what you texted, but I didn't get it. I don't know.
I said I didn't get it.
I don't know if it's still buffering or whatever, but yeah, it didn't go. So, all right. So either way, as far as our topic for today, so we were gonna do this last week, but then Terry dropped the bomb on us, and so we switched it up. But then even tying into the clip that you sent about what's his name? Pastor Michael Todd. And he went viral about pouring the syrup and stuff on the Bible. And when you sent it, I was like, oh, I'm surprised this is just not going viral, because I've seen this whole sermon months ago. So I'm surprised it's just kind of just say resurfacing or even hit the surface in general. So I did have 2 other clips from our group chat, and then also the Mike Todd clip that I will show, and then we will get into the.
And I wish some of y'all would mess with my wife, Jordan. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. Well, you will see me on the news. Let me just tell you that right now. What you gonna do if you see her? You better walk by and say, praise the Lord. That's what you better do. Because that's my wife. And she grown. She didn't need nobody to sign their paperwork for her. Now, if this was out in the streets, y'all be saying she made a come up.
Sugar daddy.
You a hypocrite. So don't you forget the Bible says marriage is honorable. And the Bible said when you find a wife, you find favor with God, honey. I found some favor with God. And we sleeping good at night. Ain't nobody up all night worrying about all these crooks. But I felt I need to say that because somebody talking about what they're going to do if they see you. I'm telling you now, don't let the devil fool you. Because I ain't the one to play with. I get on the other side here. Wish you would. Yeah, you can be the pastor. Yeah, me.
Lift your hands right here. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Listen here. All over this building. All over this building. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. All over this building. Lift your hands. I need us all on one accord right now. All on one accord. All on accord. Everybody lift your hands. Baby, could you do me a favor? Lift your hands or get out. Could you choose one? Lift your hands or get out. Could you lift your hands or get out? Choose one. Choose one. Lift your hands. Lift your hands. I'm not scared of nobody. I mean what I mean. I'm here to protect you. And anything that is in violation of it has got to go.
I lift my hands to give you the glory. I lift my hands to give praise. And we will praise you. It's just a temple. Syrup all over the communion. don't care so much over the Bible too. Y'all stop acting like you care about this. I mean, stop acting like this matters to you.
Oh, that was a lot.
All right. So so we've kind of discussed this before about, you know, all of these different people saying that they are called to pastor. And so I was wondering if we need to check God's call log.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
they not on it. Well, some of them not on it.
Right. Some of these people may not be on it. So I think we can well, if you want to, if you have something to combine all three, you can, or we can take it one at a time. But definitely I did want to start with Bishop, 63-year-old with his 18-year-old wife. What you guys thoughts?
Hey y'all, sorry to interrupt, but we have a few church announcements. Follow us on Instagram at TheWorstOnesPK. New content coming soon. We also have a TikTok at TheWorstOnesPK. No content yet, but continue to check us out. If you want to, when you listen to our podcast, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Just make sure you type in The Worst Ones Podcast and you'll find us. And when you get there, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you share. Thank you to our 500,422 followers. We love you so much. Now, back to the show. That is, see, I need that one or Get Out in the same one. Because I'm going to get out. Because I'm going to get out. Lift your hands and get out, baby, I'm going to get out. Because what I'm not doing is condoning that and lifting my hands in agreement. Right. I'm going to get on out. And the organ player in the background just want that paycheck because he know he should not have been condoning and confirming with the little keys in the back. Unacceptable. But I got two questions. So unacceptable for a 63-year-old to be with an 18-year-old, period. Pastor or not. We call that sugar daddy, not a come up. We call that, yes.
Predatory behavior.
Exactly. Like she came up because she only wants you for your money. Like, let's be clear. But I wonder if his behavior would be more acceptable. Let's say he had a 50-year-old wife that was bad, and the men were like, oh, you see past the wife, she fine. If I see her, I'm then, because I think we can probably all agree 63 and 18 is disgusting.
That's wild.
But if she was 50 and bad and the men in the church were attracted to her, would his spiel still be inappropriate? The way he went about addressing his church about the attractiveness of his wife.
I mean, for me, I don't think it would hold the same weight. Cause see, the biggest thing about, cause I mean, honestly, I don't think it would even hold the same weight, even if she was 30, you know what I'm saying? Cause like, that's a huge age difference. But to me personally, 18 seems crazy because it's like, was you waiting on her 18th birthday? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like right on the line. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's right. Exactly. It's not even like we're just talking about a huge age difference. We're talking about like you're old enough to be her grandfather. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're talking about this is your wife, and y'all sleeping good, and the marriage is honorable, and even though something may be legal in the sense of like, okay, her being 18 does legally make her old enough to be married to you and you not technically a pedophile, it's still, like I say, it's predatory though. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know, first, like, where are her parents at? Why do they think this is okay? Why does he think this is okay, pastor or not? And then his whole congregation just amening him up as he preaching. They just, that's right. Like, and it's kind of like, the people who egg it on to me are about just as guilty as, you know, the ones doing it. So it's like, yeah, we can't put this man in handcuffs technically, but it's like at the same time, if you would teeter the line this much, like, I don't know if I would, you know, if I had like a teenage child, I wouldn't want them being a part of your youth ministry, because you may be plotting on your next wife.
Right. Exactly. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Okay.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, grooming, predatory behavior is not cool. In some ways, I feel like I was groomed as a young person, and I know other people in church who were kind of groomed as well. I don't see it, and you know, maybe it's not for me to see, but I don't see what he sees in her. Like, my brother is 11 years younger than me. His little friends, like, y'all get on my nerves. We don't have nothing in common. Me and my sister and my cousins, we were joking because we took my brother's girlfriend out. This was maybe a year or two ago, but I mean, the age difference doesn't change. And we were asking her, I forgot what song. It was either Lean With It, Rock With It, some snap type of something. And she was like, she didn't know what it was. And we were like, how do you not know Lean With It, Rock With It?
Right.
And we looked it up, and I think, like, well, it might not have been Lean With It, Rock With It, but it was another very well-known song. We looked it up, and it came out in 2000. And she said, well, I was born in 2002.
Right.
And we were just all like,
right.
Oh, well, you know, like, I mean, it makes sense. You was 2 years old. I hope you didn't know what that song was.
Right.
And we laugh about it today, but that goes to show you that my brother and his girlfriend are just so much younger than us. There's like nothing bridging the gap, nothing relating to us. And so I don't understand what he sees or values. I'm not saying that she does not have value, but I just don't know what a 60-something-year-old man sees in an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And then also just looking back on my own life, I don't know. I can say at 35 that at 18, I didn't know nothing. Like, I thought I knew something, but I really didn't know anything. And so, like, I agree, Kelly, or whoever said it, where are her parents, her guardians, her aunties, uncles, somebody? It just seems, even though it's illegal, it seems inappropriate. And I think in today's society, unfortunately, because I recently found out that in different states, like, the age of consent is different. It's not just 18 across the board. In some states it's 16, some states it's 17. Some countries it might be something else. And you know, that's just something that people with power, Congress, I don't know, state policymakers, I don't know if they just picked a number, but they didn't really think about. And Kelly, you're the psychologist, like the mental state, because I want to say, Kelly, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's just men or if it's men and women, but like the age that they kind of reach maturity, the brain development, isn't it after 18? Like, isn't it like 25 or something?
For men, it's like 40. But right now, yeah, the brain isn't fully developed. Right, yeah, I think I don't know the exact number, but it is later than you would expect.
Right, so it's not 18, and like that. I personally wouldn't want to sit under a pastor who is cool with that. Like, how can you, as someone who wants to get married, and you know, at some point we'll go through marriage counseling, like, how can you counsel me when your wife, and this is just an assumption, but an educated assumption, probably is not even in the same mental capacity as me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in two different decades, in different places in our life, have different experiences. You know, it kind of even gives off a controlling vibe, like, because she maybe isn't as aware or knowledgeable or experienced, she's just kind of going by with whatever he's saying to her, believing that because of his age and maturity, he's he must know right. And so she's just going along with it. And I don't think I could follow underneath that type of leadership. I think it's hard for me. And I'll say it's hard for me because I have a friend who's dating someone who's 17 years older than her, and I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But she loves him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I try to support, or I don't even say support. I just try to be cordial as much as possible, but I don't get it. And so when I saw this pastor doing it, it was very triggering. Like, but you are leading people. You're the top person. People are coming to you for guidance and direction. And like you said, the people in the congregation are amen in it and preacher. And I don't know. I think also, and I'm going to be quiet after this, I think to a certain extent, the veil is being taken off, because I do believe that this has been going on. This type of behavior has been going on for a while, but it seems like it's becoming more acceptable. I don't know if, I don't feel like it's acceptable, but we're seeing more of it, maybe because of social media and YouTube and bloggers and vloggers. But it's like, it just seems like there's this normality of younger women with older men. Because I was thinking about the Diddy situation, not only Diddy with Cassie, but Diddy with, what's the girl from the rap group? What's the city girl?
Young Miami.
Young Miami. Of course, we now hearing about Drake and his stuff with younger people. And I'm sure there are plenty of other examples that we just haven't heard, but that's been what's in the news lately. And so I don't know, with that clip that we saw, I don't know when he said that sermon or when he made those comments. I don't know if he saw other people coming out, so he felt like he wanted to come out too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But it does seem like there is some type of shift in the culture where things that used to not be accepted are becoming accepted. And I feel like it's problematic. And we need to nip it in the bud now. Otherwise, it will just kind of, slide under the rug like everything else that's been going on. So yeah, I don't agree with it, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
I agree. Foolish, crazy. They need to get out. Do not let your hands get out.
Right. And I was about to say, the people amen in him, to me, is worse than the organ player playing, amen, because the organ player, he might not even be a member. He just getting paid. He might just be getting paid. You know what I'm saying? But some people sit in that congregation, amen, and for Bishop, like.
And it leads me to believe that, people need certain things and people search for certain things. And it's apparent that he needs a level of control, probably adoration, feeling like he's probably ego driven, a bit narcissistic, I get all of that. And I'm sure that is the same way he got his wife, is the same type of person that's in his congregation, which is why they're amening instead of leaving. Because those people that I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but tend to attach themselves to, like I said, those more narcissistic, ego-driven behaviors. You give me something that I don't have. I'm connected to something that I've never experienced before. Like you said, Janessa, that control piece, because I'm better than you. I can provide you with this lifestyle. I can provide you with this thing that you haven't had. To me, I'm assuming she don't have no father. I can be this father figure for you. I wonder how many father figures to people in the church that he may be, and so I'm assuming that the same personality type his wife is the same personality type of his congregation. And so he has probably brainwashed all of them into thinking that this ain't the first foolish thing that he's done. It's just the one that was viral, We don't even know where he is or what church, but But I'm assuming that his congregation kind of is a similar personality type.
Something else I wanted to add, and I was going to send this to y'all, and I still will if I can find it again. But it was like point of views on TikTok or Instagram, and it was like women who would marry a pastor or would rather count rice, and then it's like a video of somebody counting rice. And I don't know if it's because we're PKs and we've lived this life for a long time. You know, I've told y'all the Lord would have to send an angel or come down himself and tell me to marry a pastor or a preacher. But because we've lived this life, like I've seen my dad leave the house at 2:00 in the morning to go to the hospital multiple occasions, or miss events, or, you know, something just come up with the church and he has to go. And I've always said, unless the Lord told me I needed to marry a pastor, that's not something that I personally will want to do. Not only because of the responsibility that he has, but like even with my mom, you know, she has to be conscious about the way she dresses and what events she goes to. And even for like weddings, my parents, if my dad is officiating a wedding, he will leave before the reception because he doesn't want people to like feel like they can't enjoy themselves or whatever. And I was just like, that's not for me. But apparently, I guess people who are kind of outside of this PK bubble, this preacher's bubble, whatever, that's like a lifestyle that is coveted by people. They want to be the first lady or whatever. And so at 18, you know, she might have seen that role, that position, what comes with that as something that she desired. But like I said, as someone who's 35 and who has been a PK for 23 years, almost 24 years, that's not something I want to do.
Right.
And so I think some pastors may prey on women, like we were talking about predatory behavior, may prey on women because kind of like you were saying, Kelly, it could be like a sugar daddy situation, or it comes with some type of status or clout or something like that. But when you're 18 and you don't know any better, that's when you just kind of leaning on whatever he's saying, or maybe what you've just seen on TV, social media, whatever. And this is no disrespect to Shawnee O'Neal, but like when you see a Shawnee O'Neal who has been in the WNBA, I'm not the WNBA, the NBA wife to Shaquille O'Neal, and now she's transitioned to being the first lady and the wife of Pastor, I think his name is it Henderson or
Keon Henderson?
Keon Henderson. Like for some people, though, that's goals. At one point in time, being on Love and Hip Hop or being on Basketball Wives, like that was the goal, to be a reality TV star. And as the goalpost moves, because obviously Shawnee started on Love and Hip Hop and now she's the first lady. You know, some of these young people, I feel like their goalpost has moved. Like at one point in time, being a reality star was it, but now, oh no, let me become a PK or not a PK, a preacher's wife, because it comes with all of this as well. So I don't know. I just know I don't want to marry a pastor unless the Lord tells me to. I don't care if he's 65.
I would marry a pastor before I count rice, but that isn't that hadn't been a desire of mine either.
So Kelly, what was your I guess final thoughts on I know you kind of touched on it, but your boy who was kicking old girl out for not having her hands.
So I tried to see it a couple of different ways. I tried to see it from his perspective. You know, he giving me was that Keon Henderson, the shut up, close your mouth, be quiet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to hear nobody else, but you know, it gives me a little of that. And so I feel like let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he is on the top of God's call law. The Lord called him all the time.
Right.
And he was being obedient to the Spirit and trying to usher her into this atmosphere of holiness or whatever. And she was being disobedient. And so his response was, I need you to obey what the Lord is telling me to tell you, or leave because you're being disobedient. That's one end.
Right.
That ain't really what I felt like was happening. I felt more of, again, that. So back to the first one. And what Janessa was saying. So pastors do, and we've talked about this, they do come with a level of status, a level of success. You get to stand up in front of a congregation, every Sunday and speak and, whatever. And so, and at first, like I said, you just kind of changed the game for me, because at first that was just within your little community that this pastor was this big thing. Now social media has, in a good way on some end, has elevated, that's not the word I'm looking for, but
illuminated.
Yeah, more of ministry and Christianity and church, and let's say church.
Right.
And so it is a little more popular, it is a little more trendy. It may not have anything to do with religion or Christianity or spirituality, but it is trendy. And so I don't necessarily feel like I saw one in the comments say, everybody just looking for a viral moment. I don't even necessarily think that this was a viral moment, but it was a, you need to obey me. I said this, you need to do this. To me, again, it can come off very ego driven and narcissistic, just like Pastor Henderson, just like Pastor 63-year-old, to me, it all comes from the same place. One of my favorite prayers is, Lord, decrease me and increase you. And I think too often pastors are in there and it's all them. It's just you. We talked about before, AI could create you a sermon. Right. And that was before I even knew what AI was. Now that I know, I said, oh yeah, AI is amazing. Like, absolutely can, create you a sermon, and you get your little preacher voice, and you get your little, his little point of it, your little antics and all of that going on. And it's no longer about the Lord, it's about you. And I felt like in that moment, that was about him. Because just like I think we've all talked about times when pastors wanted to make you fall and, and do all of that. She didn't feel led to raise her hand. Why did she have to leave? This is the place where I'm supposed to feel comfortable. This is the place where I'm supposed to come as I am. And even if that doesn't mean in my dress, that means in my spirit, internally. And then for me to be called out in church like that, get out.
Right.
When you talk about church hurt, you talk about why people don't want to go. It's because of things like this. Totally unnecessarily, totally inappropriate, totally disrespectful, and had nothing to do with the Lord and ushering in the spirit for the church, and everything to do with she wasn't doing what he asked.
Right.
Yeah. And so he snapped back. And again, as a pastor, when someone doesn't do, my dad talks all the time about, especially as people were transitioning to using their phones instead of Bibles. And I look down and your phone is out. And even still, I don't know if you're texting or reading or taking notes, YouTube and scrolling. I don't really know what you're doing, but every time he sees a phone, he can't say, Kellie, what you doing with that phone? You can't do that. There's a level of self-control that you have to have. And so that was completely out of line. Did I send that one? Who sent that in the chat?
No, you sent the Mike Top.
Old man.
An old man, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, but I was just, it was off-putting. It was unnecessary. It was another one. I would have gotten out, and I may have been hands raised in the spirit and would be like, you know what?
I'm leaving with her.
Right. I'm like, come on, girl. It's not it. This not it. Because that.
Right.
I agree. I feel like there was a similar situation. We might have even talked about it on the podcast, where the lady actually could not lift her arms, or there was some type of medical situation that prevented her from doing that. And I want to say the pastor had to come back and like issue an apology. And I think, you know, I agree 100%. That was more about the preacher or the person, the minister or whoever, and not necessarily God. And I would have left too, because I would no. She could have had a physical ailment where she could not lift her hands. I also agree with you, Kelly. Like, say she came with one of her friends who is a Christian, but she's not a Christian. This is her first interaction in church with Christ, whatever, and you're being told to get out because you're not lifting your hands. That, to a certain extent, because I don't want to say these are the exact same things, but that's like going to a like a mosque or another religion. You're just going with your friend. You don't know anything. You don't know what the things are, and then being told out because you don't want to bow down.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out, well, what am I bowing down to?
Right.
Like, wait a second. I just came to witness. I didn't really come to participate. I was just like, you don't know. And so I do think that that was completely out of line. You have no idea what that person's going through. And even if it wasn't a physical ailment or something like that, that person could have just lost their mama. You know, it could have been anything.
Right.
Had a bad day, had a miscarriage. You know what I'm saying? And you're harping on they didn't want to lift their hands. Like, no. We're thankful that they're in the building. We're thankful that they are in the presence of God. They're surrounded by people who love God and who can help and can pray and lay hands or whatever. I think when we go back to the title of we need to check God's call log, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if this has been going on. It probably has been going on, but I do think that social media has brought a lot of this to the forefront, to where we see it. And it's unfortunate, you know, that this is the representation that is getting the attention. Because I don't want to discredit or make it seem like only foolishness is happening in the church, because it's not.
Right.
But in social media world, only the foolishness is what gets highlighted, unfortunately. And so that's kind of disheartening. And I wish there was a better way to highlight the positives that are going on. Like when we, what's that? It was like the New Year's Eve where they was doing Joyful, the Sister Act, you know, like the good things, but it just seems like the negative things are what's getting pushed forward. And it's unfortunate. And so I don't know what the solution is, but we're just gonna have to add them to the prayer list. I guess. The never ending prayer list.
Right.